Our Disney marathon continues as we set sail to Neverland with Peter Pan, Wendy and the other children, Captain Hook, that small guy, a crocodile, other people as well I suppose, on today's episode of That Song from That Movie. And the 12 points from France go to...
somehow the UK. Who would have thought?
Thank you for joining That Song from That Movie, the journey through the very best and worst of movie songs. I am your The Worst Ride at Walt Disney World host, Dietrich. And we're joined by the world's most famous crook, Alex.
Even more famous than those guys who robbed the railway that time.
Who?
So famous you know them so well.
The Great Train Robbery. You know, there's that film starring Phil Collins. It's called Buster.
Is there?
It's terrible. You've never seen the film Buster starring Phil Collins?
No.
It has the song Groovy Kind of Love on it. Oh my god, next episode.
I don't think I've seen any film with Phil Collins.
Yeah, well, there ain't many.
And, oh no, call Scotland Yard. It's Ben.
Don't, please. I would like to finish recording this.
I just realised that both of your intros were sort of linked there.
Yeah.
I've let myself down, I'm sorry.
You've
guys.
let yourself down because you're saying this is the worst ride in Disneyland. That is not true. I mean, I haven't been to Disneyland since I was 11, so we're talking 20 years ago, but it's still not true.
Mm-hmm.
The Dumbo ride was the worst.
What? No, get out of here.
Yeah.
Absolute classic.
For those of us out there who have not been to Disneyland, what is wrong with the Peter Pan ride? What even is the Peter Pan ride?
You fly over the city and it looks beautiful.
Whoa.
It feels like you're in a room.
You are in a room?
He doesn't sell the idea.
Oh, so you're not legitimately flying over a city. It's like an animated.
It's like a miniature city and you're in like a flying boat.
Oh.
D, with all of his
boat,
disposable income, who goes to Disneyland every 6 months.
God, I wish.
He has been spoilt by all of these 4D, Transformatron, Spooderman things that have...
Didn't I just stick up for Dumbo, which is a spinner ride? It just goes around
But it's not in a building, that's the thing. You've been spoilt by these, simulator rides that allow you to do too much. You need to use your imagination.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, 4D.
Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Sorry, that's the one. SpongeBob from the SpongeBob one from Flamingo Land.
Flamingo Land.
God.
Yeah.
No.
Alright, we'll move on. Guys, I've got a surprise for you.
Go on.
It's been a while since we recorded, which allowed me time to do something.
Oh,
Ready?
right. Go on. Yes.
I would like to know in the past fortnight, what have you been watching?
Well, I mean, that. I don't know what it deserves, but it deserves something.
If that wasn't worth you having a child, I don't know.
I know. Yeah, that's the legacy.
That is my gift to you.
As they grow up, you can inform them that we got that.
I can't ever.
Come on, guys.
Can we have it again? Go on, one more time. I'm gonna have it again.
I would like to know in the past fortnight, what have you been watching?
Feel free to add a cha-cha-cha at the end.
Cha-cha-cha. Yeah.
Wowzers. Alex, what have you been watching? Have you watched anything?
Yes, I've watched the entirety of the TV show Sex Education.
Oh, the entirety of it?
Is that in preparation of Doctor Who?
Huh?
Well, yeah, it's the new guy who's going to be Doctor Who. He's in Sex Education,
yeah, he is.
It's really, really good, and I would recommend it for anyone who hasn't seen it. But surprisingly so, it doesn't look good when you watch the trailer, but when you watch the TV show, it's they really got it wrong when they made the trailer for the show.
I wonder at what age Asa Butterfield can stop playing a child.
Well, I don't know what age
he must be about 40 now.
He can't be that old. He can't be that old. I reckon he must be 28, something like that. But they are playing sixth formers as well, so he's playing 10 years younger than himself.
I went to see a film oh god, how do you bloody say it? Everything, everywhere, all of the time. I think that's it.
All at once.
All at once. That was it. Yeah. I'll never remember the name of it, but it was absolutely amazing film.
It sounds interesting. I've not seen it. I've not had a chance to go out to the cinema.
It's incredibly good.
I hear it's the film that Doctor Strange should have been.
Yeah, I wonder if they've actually timed having two multiverse films at the same time. And I have not seen Doctor Strange, but apparently that is not the best, and this is.
This is not a Marvel film.
No.
But it involves the Marvel multiverse.
No, just a multiverse.
Just a multiverse.
A multiverse in which one of the worlds is where people have hot dogs for fingers.
Hot dogs for fingers?
Yep.
What happens when you eat your hot dog fingers?
Oh, well, they explain some of the things that happen, especially when you get excited.
Oh.
Isn't that a sketch from like the Peter Serafinovich show?
It sounds.
They've been
like
found
it
out.
I've not watched many films since we last recorded.
In life.
Have you seen The Multiverse of Moodness?
Well, no, because I went to Italy, then I caught COVID, so I've not had a chance to go to the cinema.
Or is it COVID if it's from Italy?
Potentially.
Or is it COVID? I don't know. It's COVID in the
Yeah.
time.
So the films I've watched are the Jackass films because I felt sorry for myself, and whilst I was in Italy, because it was the only English channel, I ended up watching Monster-in-Law
Oh God!
with J-Lo. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still pretty bad.
Well, it is the pinnacle of her filmography.
I don't think that's true. Surely Hustlers.
Hustlers, yeah. I forgot she was in one decent film.
What about Made in Manhattan?
Move on.
Or Jiggly.
Oh, that video with LL Cool J, that was cinema worthy.
Which one?
You've been needing me, but too bad. That one.
Yeah. Proud is what you had, baby girl, and what you have.
That's the one.
Nice. Okay, so welcome back to our Disney animated marathon. This one is all about the songs of Peter Pan, and there is a lot of them, so let's just get into this.
Go.
So to find out what was happening in the world when Peter Pan came out,
Time for some history.
I'm taking you back to 1953. So it's a month for pub quiz hosts of the future, as James Watson and Francis Crick announced the discovery of the double helix structure in a DNA module.
Nice.
Or something. Something sciencey.
Thank God we've got other people to make these things understandable, not us.
On the news article I read, it was announced the discovery of, but it was like they already knew it was there. They just announced that they'd now found it.
We've known for years, guys.
I'm not sure if it counts as February 1953, but I'm taking it because it was a barren month for news.
It looks too cool to be real. Like DNA looks like it's a artistic interpretation, like one of those BBC things, like the guy with the bear, the cutout of the bear when he's going past the house.
Or like the pencil that writes on its own.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I'll move on. The British government announces the end of World War II sweets rationing, or candy for our American listeners. So apparently, after it was the ban was removed, there was £100 million spent on sweets in the remainder of 1953.
Wowzers.
Which I thought, that's me a lot of money when you adjust it for inflation. And it's £2 billion.
On sweets.
Just on sweets.
I didn't even realise that amount of money existed in 1953. That's what Austin Powers would let
And
me
all
believe.
they had back then was fruit salads and blackjacks as well.
Yeah. Which are barely sweets.
Oh, God, I hate them both.
What I then did, obviously, was I looked at the current day stats for how much the confectionery spend there is in the UK per year.
Oh, God.
And it's depressingly 21 billion.
Oh, jeez.
But it's a larger population, so I've done that maths as well. So if you adjust for that and the fact that January is not included, it's 14 billion. Now, does that make you feel better about yourself?
God, it really has been a long couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Dee's doing maths. He's coming up with
There's
jingles.
not a lot of information on these 7 songs, is there?
Not at all.
Did you find out what what was the top selling sweet of 1953? Was it flying saucers? Was it pear drops?
Damn, my top 5.
What are we talking?
Sure, let me just Google it. It says drumsticks.
Drumsticks.
Oh, no.
Surely not.
Probably not. It'll be like a Billy Bob chocolate or something like that.
Yeah, some kind of licorice.
My next piece of news is the release of the movie Peter Pan, because nothing else happened in February 1953. Peter Pan is the 14th animated movie released on the big screen by Disney, and is an adaptation of the novel Peter and Wendy, which itself was an adaptation of the stage play Peter Pan, or The Boy Who Couldn't Grow Up, which itself was a sequel to the novel within a novel, Adventures in Kensington Gardens, which was inside the novel, The Little White Bird.
Mm-hmm.
You all follow that?
Yeah. The multiverse.
My nose is bleeding.
Yeah, so it's a very convoluted way to get to there. But the movie was released in 1953 to critical acclaim, but let's say it hasn't aged too well. But what are your thoughts on this film? Maybe best to split this into two, when you were younger and maybe a more contemporary view of it now.
When I think of Peter Pan, I think of the film Hook now, which is a far superior representation of this story being done on the big screen, and is a film I love.
Not Pan.
Not Pan. Wait, is Pan the more recent one when it had that weird...
Is that the Hugh Jackman
With Hugh
one?
Jackman
Yeah.
in the Sing Nirvana.
Yeah, no, that was shocking. The 2003 one is quite good. That one is quite good. But yes, I did like this as a kid because of the really old ones. I think there was quite a lot more action in it than, like, Cinderella, Snow White, Bambi, films like that. So if I was going to watch one of the sort of... What's this called? Is this the golden... Are we in the silver era of Disney?
I think it was the Zinger era.
Zinger. This was one of my favourites. I hadn't watched it, and I watched it again about a week ago. Like I say, I'll go to... If I want to watch this story, I'll watch In Hook. I don't think it's done that well. And we'll go on to some of the songs. I think the songs are quite good, but I don't know, it's just a bit naff. There's obviously some questionable things, which,
yes.
I mean, also, is it of the time? I think that's the thing. You could probably criticise a lot of the Disney films from this era for similar things. But I won't probably go back to it ever again.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. Alex?
I mean, I also really enjoy the film Hook.
It's such a good film.
And what's your opinion of the film Pan?
The film Pan? I've never seen the film Pan, actually. I remember the 2003 Peter Pan being okay. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't think I've actually watched this since I was a child, to be honest. I think most of what I can recall of this film was the videos and songs that I watched in the last couple of days. I don't remember it being a huge favourite. I think more than anything what I remember is actually just the visual look of the characters. Like, I can really remember what Peter Pan looks like and what Tinkerbell looks like and what Captain Hook looks like. But the actual children, like Wendy and the two boys, when I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, that's what they look like. Because I'd completely forgotten like how they even appeared in the film. It's not one that's really stuck with me. And the songs as well, which we'll obviously go into. Don't really remember this one.
Alex really just wants to speed up to the 90s.
I do, because that's the diamond.
That's the banger. That's the banger era.
I mean, I've been watching Tarzan recently. We're talking about songs in a Disney film.
You're eager.
We'll get there.
We've already spoken about Phil Collins once today, so let's not labour the point. Yeah, so I don't have any really huge fond memories of this film. Watching clips of it recently feels a bit dodge. I know obviously it's a classic story in children's literature from this country, but and I'm not actually that well versed on the original story, but I don't know how much it goes into the whole Native American thing situation. But the cartoon really seems to linger on that too much.
I think with when I was a kid, it was a good gateway drug to imagination. Because it had the reality part of it, and it had the sort of the fantastical Neverland, and it also told you how you got there. It was that middle part, and I think that was quite interesting to young Ben.
But does Netherland seem that exciting? There's pirates.
I think the immortality element of it was quite inspiring.
You can remain a child forever.
Yeah.
But is that a good thing? I don't know. Philip Pullman would say otherwise. So I don't know.
Yes, true, but they don't seem to be doing a lot of childish things. They are in constant war.
And smoking.
Just recruiting children to fight on your pirate ship. Or chopping off people's hands and feeding it to crocodiles.
I don't have any positive memories of this movie from when I was a child. I don't recall not liking it, but I don't recall liking it.
Yeah, same.
And I don't know if these are false memories. I have memories of not only finding it boring, but also a bit claustrophobic and a bit cramped.
Like it would make me feel uncomfortable, but that doesn't quite marry up with the idea of me finding it boring.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it would make me feel uncomfortable in a way I couldn't comprehend, and as an adult, I find it boring and uncomfortable, but I feel like I can pretty much nail on a lot of the reasons why.
Very much in a way you can comprehend.
Yeah.
Also, Peter Pan is a bit of a knob.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, it seems like just sort of like just pure heroism. Like he has no fear. He's incredibly headstrong. Whereas you get older, it's like, no, he's a narcissistic, self-inflated ego. He doesn't think. He puts everyone at risk. He's kind of blinded by his own semi-immortality.
Yeah, he's very much like a child.
Yeah.
So it's quite accurate in that.
He's trying to bring a 3-year-old into a battlefield.
Listen, his kids grow up.
So he's saying he's much better when he's Robin Williams.
Well, yeah.
As an adult man.
Well, yes. Just focusing on business. But to be fair, those kids were being raised by a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's points where the dog's pouring medicine into the spoon, so I think something's going wrong there.
Yeah, this was going to get much worse. And they were living in London, so
Yeah, so I think that looking at it now, find the movie just a bit icky.
But I think you could do more with it. You could do more with this story. Mainly we'll go on to actually in one of the songs. The side of that they have these kids with no mothers. Of the very sort of Lord of the Flies side of things, you could do more with that and make this interesting. But everyone just thinks, what was Peter like before we got there? Oh, what was that? What was he like afterwards? It's like it's just lazy. We've got during, we've got before, we've got after. Next it'll be the Peter multiverse.
It's interesting you bring up about the stories around it because, and I'll go into the production of this now. So Walt Disney was up to his usual tricks. So to give you an idea of how long they were working on this film. Move on. Don't sue us. Walt Disney announced he was working on Peter Pan in 1935, which is 2 years before Snow White. He originally planned for Peter Pan to be the follow-up to Snow White. The screenplay was written rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten countless times. The start of the movie we have now in the London house where Peter Pan comes and gets his shadow. Oh, yeah. That was originally the midpoint of the movie. And originally it had the story of how did Peter Pan get to Neverland? Why is he in Neverland? How did he get to London? And that was all completely thrown away with all these rewrites. Many years later, because it's 1953 when this movie comes out, and they're working on it in 1935. There's a whole war in between. Yeah. It got to the point where Walt Disney would get the writers to stop them from doing any further rewrites to the story. Once the writers had finished the script, he would take it to the animators and have them animate it so the writers didn't have a chance to change the script again.
Give me your pen!
Like literally taking the page off of them, walking down the hall, handing it to the animators, and having it fully animated by the end of the day sort of thing. So they couldn't change it. Which obviously is a great creative process because when they got to the 2.5 hour version of the film, Walt Disney decided that it was so bad that they should scrap the entire thing and work on Cinderella instead.
Yep. They do seem to go back to this one more, though. Clearly there's something in the original material. I think the Hugh Jackman one goes into the backstory, who he was, more. But I don't care. Could have guessed. It would be more interesting if he was an alien or something.
I think it's actually that the baby runs away from his parents and he comes back and his parents have got a new child. It's kind of like the film AI, except in that situation, then the AI is discarded.
No one, I cannot. Every time someone mentions that film to me, even though it's a good film, there's one scene where you have to watch where whatever his name is, Haley Joel Osment, eats mashed potatoes and he breaks. Just after this, go watch it. Or if you listen to this podcast, just pause it, go to YouTube. It's like 30 seconds long. You'll have a laugh.
It is a mad film.
So, as I said before, it got a decent critical reception at the time, except for one news outlet. Any guesses?
New York Times.
That was the New York Times. They were unhappy they didn't stick to the original play, which I think is ironic, given that the original play was not original. It was based on a book, which was based on a novel, and a book, which was based on a novel.
Doesn't eventually all go back to, it's one of those things where you eventually get back to Shakespeare, and then...
this is a retelling of Hamlet.
And he probably stole it from some guy down the street.
Yeah, but basically, other than the New York Times, it was really well received. Interestingly, what I thought was going to happen is when I looked at the contemporary reviews, that it was going to be slated, but that didn't really seem to be the case. Most people's nostalgia for this film seemed to win out, and it would get a 3.5 out of 5, marked down from a 4.5 out of 5. I expected it to be, we can't get past the sexism, the racism that's rampant in this movie.
I think a lot of people that write re-reviews, I don't think they actually watch the film.
Probably
they
not.
They've got time for that.
No, they're just probably reasssing their own memories of what they think.
Literally, yeah. I mean, we can't say much.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I'm doing right now.
So. But at least you're aware of that.
And you actually watch some YouTube videos,
which is probably further
would question.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Right, so there's 7 songs in this movie of varying quality and varying degrees of validity of being covered by a movie music podcast. Because there are so many, and I'm pitching this live on the podcast, instead of having a best song segment, should we just declare our favourite song when we get to it?
Sure.
Gotta make space for that top 5.
Alex having to decide now.
I am actually having to look at which one did I actually enjoy.
So we'll go straight into them and talk problems with the movie and the everything else like that as we get to them. So the first song we're covering is The Second Star to the Right, which is performed by the Judd Conlon Chorus and the Mellow Men. 2 different bands performing together. Together at last. Michael Bolton and Alfie Boe-esque.
Indeed.
This second star to the right is your classic animated Disney opening with a choir singing over the top of the credits, settling you into the animated movie you're about to see. There's not much trivia to this song, but there is something that long-term listeners and you two, as long-term contributors to the podcast, should know, which is what? Come on.
Alex,
You've got to know this.
Alex, jump in.
So there's one piece of trivia to this song.
One piece of interesting information about this song, and we've already, on a previous episode, covered it.
It's the same. Is it the same? It was taken from a different film.
Yes.
That was the one.
Is it
Yeah, was
Pinocchio?
it taken from Alice in Wonderland or something?
Yes, it's
That's
from Alice
there
in
you go.
Wonderland.
Well, yeah, the Mellow Men wrote songs for Alice in Wonderland as well, or performed songs for Alice in Wonderland.
It's a redo of the song Beyond a Laughing
That's
Sky
the one.
from Alice in Wonderland.
Right. I was going to say, because the lyrics are specifically referencing something from Peter Pan, aren't they? So I was like, can't be the exact same song. But, right, but
Yeah,
it's like the melody
exactly.
and things like that.
The song was cut from Alice in Wonderland, and they basically just redid the lyrics for this and plonked it in the film. And
yeah.
I guess go listen to Alice in Wonderland episode if you haven't already, though this probably spoils that bit a little bit.
Yeah. Ruined.
Personally, this stage of doing these Disney films, I'm kind of over these intros.
You wrote your over title cards.
Yeah, for these
Oh,
Disney
we've killed
films.
him. We've killed him.
They're all the same. The Alice in Wonderland version of this song, in my opinion, is better. So there's not really much for me to actually take from this. What about you guys?
Yeah, to me, it feels a bit like it's kind of like the rest of them. It's like they're all trying to emulate Somewhere Over the Rainbow and not quite hitting it. And it's like, it feels like it's the same kind of, especially in this one, because the story has similarities in that, the title character, or, group of people character end up going to a magical far off land. So it's kind of the same mentality. But I just think it's like they're just trying to get there and not quite. And also, this also feels like a worse version of the song from the beginning of Pinocchio, the When You Wish Upon a Star song, obviously the Disney song. And it's like, it doesn't hit either of those two. So it just becomes background music where you're just waiting for the film to actually begin. It doesn't add anything. Because they all sound the same, don't they? They don't feel like unique to the film anymore. So, yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it, to be honest.
I couldn't right now tell you what the other one sounded like, other than saying they sounded like this.
Yeah.
I can't remember them well enough.
No, yeah, I think they're always nice when you listen to them. But they're not memorable because they diffuse so easily into like the big soup of this choir group. It also has that, like, I guess it must be the recording style of the time. It's got like that crackle to it. It kind of, nothing stands out from it. Yeah, it's very tinny.
Yeah.
Parts of it do stick in my mind, just as Alex has probably been singing Starman by Sam Ryder all day. I have been singing just those kind of lines. The second star to the right shines in the night for you. I do find that, I don't know, there's something about it, just how it kind of trails off. I do find it quite, I don't know, maybe it's like a romantic, mystifying sort of element of it. The second verse, when there's like, twinkle, twinkle, little star, I'm like, where's this going? Like, it just kind of, I feel that's where it just sounds absolutely terrible. But the opening of it, and the repeat of it at the end, I do quite like it. It just drifts off and I have no idea what they're saying and I don't care afterwards.
Yeah, and I think, obviously we'll cover this in a future episode, I think these are becoming a dying part of the Disney animated movie experience. I don't think there's many more after this.
No.
Good.
I can't 100% remember what is next.
Is it like Sword on the Stone or Sleeping
Lady and the
Beauty or
Tramp,
something?
is it? Lady and the Tramp?
Oh, maybe that one does have one. We're definitely getting to the point where they will go soon.
I know the Mellow Men performed a song for Lady and the Tramp, which is my only thinking of maybe they did the opening credit. Maybe they recorded them all at the same time.
Yeah, just did a patch.
Like 1935. Walt's like the next 20 years, these are the films. Go.
Next up is You Can Fly, with an exclamation point, which is again performed by the Judd Conlon Chorus and the Mellow Men. The Mellow Men again. The song is split into two, with the first half being the children being convinced that they can fly without much relation to the B tempo, whatever, and then failing. And the second half, in which the choir proclaimed about the children being able to fly with instructions on how to fly, which is probably not safe for people to try at home. Probably. What do you guys think of this song? And have you attempted to follow the instructions in the song on how to fly?
No, because I am well in my head.
And also doesn't have access to fairy dust.
No.
I thought you were going to say Christmas.
It doesn't have access to Christmas.
I think there's a guy in the a few streets over that sells fairy dust on the street corner, but I think that's something different.
Yeah, it's Spice.
It's
Has a very
it's
opposite effect.
It's a Spice Girls CD, guys. Spice Girls CD. That's what it means.
So are we now a PG podcast? Cover your ears, children. What are we on about?
You can fly.
I was too busy looking out for the spice dealer. Yeah, I have not followed these instructions, but just you saying that reminded me of that story that I don't know if it was true about some girl thinking she was a Pokemon and jumping off the balcony as a child. I don't know. Felt like it was one of those terrible stories that if you follow these instructions, it's not the film's fault. Peter Pan's got other things going wrong for it. Doesn't have to add this one to its list. Daily Mirror headline.
Podcaster does Spice and advises children to jump off balcony.
I mean, I did read that. I think that was like one of the major criticisms of the original play was that children in like the early 1900s were attempting to jump off their beds.
Attempting to jump on the beds. Well, to be fair though, in the first ever film, or one of the first ever films, I forget. I don't want to butcher it in French, but it's basically a train arriving at a train station, and it's like 20 seconds long, and it's just coming towards the camera, and people would run out of the cinema because they felt it was going to hit them. Clearly, people are stupid.
Exactly. It was called Le Train Crash, if you're wondering.
Yeah.
It was called Le Thomas and Friends, and it was narrated by Ringo Starr.
The Ringo Starr.
Le Ringo Starr.
I don't like this song.
You don't like this song?
I like the musical refrains. I like the tune and the jingle of it. The lyrics, I think, are a bit just meh. I would never remember them other than the repeating "You Can Fly" in that monotone voice.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the song either. And actually, I didn't wholly agree with the sentiment that it was trying to put across, that if you are, you open yourself to happiness, you can be happy, and your dreams will automatically come true. I just thought it was a bit sickly sweet and a bit like simplistic in its sentiment.
If you think of the generation of your relatives, that's probably how they view most mental health difficulties. Just be happy.
Yeah.
Well, this is it though, and it was just like, well,
anything your heart's desire will come to you.
Yeah, I suppose there wasn't such a thing as mental health in 1953. Yeah. The one thing I did enjoy was like the really like the shot of Westminster at the end, like the dark, glooming, cold, uncaring figure of power. It was quite apt, I thought. Still made sense in the modern day view. It was bleak.
I review declaring this as your best song.
Hang on.
Oh, I didn't even ask that for the first one. I review picking Second Star to the Right as your best song.
No.
I review picking You Can Fly.
No.
It can fly right to near the bottom of my list.
Did you write that one down, Alex?
No, Ben. I'm just that witty.
Third song of Peter Pan is the song A Pirate's Life, open brackets, is a wonderful life, close brackets, because I respect the brackets. It's a song in the style of a sea shanty. So for any Gen Z listeners out there, a sea shanty is a song you sing on TikTok with fellow talkers, but on a ship. Obviously, I don't use TikTok, so I don't know what people on TikTok are called. Are they talkers?
Are they tickers?
Are they tickers?
Are they TikTokers?
Surely it can't be TikTokers. Like, you're not a Twitterer.
You're a tweeter.
What are you? A tweeter?
Yeah.
You're a
But though you do, tweeters do tweets, but tickers or talkers do TikToks.
Do tickers talk. Or do talkers tick.
Exactly.
My nose is bleeding again.
It's a brave new world.
Yeah. I think of this song as like the precursor to the far superior Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. It sounds like the first draft of a better song. What do you think of this song anyway, before I go down a rabbit hole of songs that sound similar?
I think it's probably, so far, it's the standout song, because it only lasts a few, less than 30 seconds-ish.
Yeah.
Alex needs things to be snappy.
Should get Alex on TikTok.
I think, maybe I should look into it. I think what I didn't really like about the song was that they didn't offer up many reasons why I would want to be a pirate. And that did come later in the Captain Hook song, which is kind of the same song but extended slightly. But in this one, the only benefit, it seems, of being a pirate is that my bones will find their way to Davy Jones, and maybe that's a good thing. They seem to say it was a good thing, but I don't know why. Do I get some sort of eternal afterlife?
All the depictions of Davy Jones that you know have usually not been very good
yeah,
for you.
Well, that's it. Like, and as well, like if I'm a child in Neverland, then I will. Do I live forever? I'm eternally a child. So is it better to be eternally a child, or have become a pirate and have my bones kind of drop down into the sea to Davy Jones? I think I'm choosing the eternal childhood. Or am I? I don't know. Depends how dark I'm feeling on the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't really sell me on being
Just
a
be
pirate.
happy, Alex.
Just be happy. Yeah.
Sprinkle
a bit of fairy, a bit of spice.
I'll go contact my Spice Man.
The Spice Man.
Is that what Sam Ryder's singing about?
Yeah. He probably would have won if it was. That's what he needed to get to the top. He's up in space because he's taken too much spice.
In Spice Man. Is this even really a song?
It's a fair question. It is a fair question.
That's where I jump in.
No, it's a shanty. It's a shanty.
Yeah, but it's a very basic shanty. I think is there an extended version like that that's on the ride? Because I feel like they play this on the ride at Disneyland. D, since you go every 6 months, can you please tell us?
I'm pretty sure it does appear on the ride. I don't know if it's an extended version.
No, I mean, it's like, it doesn't even register in my mind as a song. Clearly it's short enough for Alex, but yeah, it's not good enough for me.
I mean, I said it was the best song so far.
How bad is that? How bad is that as a marker? Your limbo stick is on the floor. They haven't been picked up yet.
Limbo stick on the floor would be like ridiculously hard.
Oh, yeah. Okay, your limbo stick is being held by Sam Ryder in space. And we'll keep coming back. References.
We're a
topical podcast, even though this episode will come out in weeks.
It'll come out close to next year's Eurovision as well. Yeah, I feel like I've got the answer to this, but are either you declaring this as your best song of Peter Pan?
No.
What's going to happen here is I'm going to run out of songs, so I'm going to end up picking the last one.
I like the line, "Give me a career as a buccaneer." I like that. Well done, whoever wrote this song.
Yeah, but they don't give a reason why. That's the fundamental flaw in the song. It's like, okay, I get it. Yeah, buccaneer career, that rhymes. That's
if
good.
You're an adult in Neverland, it doesn't look like there's many career opportunities. If you're not a mermaid, if you do not belong to this native Indian group, or you are a pirate or a child, that seems to be all that exists in Neverland.
Yeah, not really much of a magical place when you put it that way.
Yep. No.
Cool. Okay. So here we go. Following the leader is a marching song similar to Hi Ho in Snow White, and is about the Lost Boys on their way to fight a Native American tribe. So musically, this is our first mention of the racist term Injun, which, for those who don't know, is a derogative term based on the idea that when a Native American spoke broken English, the word Indian would be mispronounced as Injun.
Okay.
Hilarious.
I think it's said constantly throughout the film. After watching it the other week, It's like, it is just constantly the little kid. I don't know what his name is. He basically wants to be an Injun.
He does. Now Ben, as we know, is a fan of Disney sing-along CDs.
Oh yes, literally that's what I got about to mention.
So you may already know this, but the line "We're off to fight the Injuns" was replaced on most versions in the 90s. So 90s onwards.
I assumed it was because I just never remember singing it. What is the line?
So the line it's replaced with is "We won't be home till morning."
Oh, so I was singing that as a different line. I thought I was having a stroke when I was looking at the lyrics earlier. I was like, "Well, how have I made up this full line of this childhood song?"
Yep. So if you were hearing that version, Ben, sorry, it was not the original.
Do not be sorry. I'm glad that at least, even in the 90s, they had some sort of air of decorum.
Yeah, it's actually quite forward thinking, I suppose. But I guess with that bit out of the way, with more racist fun to come in the next song, what do you guys think of Following the Leader? I mean, it is catchy.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they haven't overdubbed that lyric on the YouTube version. It still mentions the I word, for lack of a better way of putting it. I really don't have anything to say about this.
Alex hates Peter Pan.
Well, I'm starting to think that maybe I do.
Alex loves Phil Collins, and that's it.
What if I told you the song was written by Phil Collins?
Well, yeah, it probably was. It could have even been.
No,
he was only just born around this time. Yeah, he might not have even.
He was still in his Genesis.
He was still. Oh God.
Did that work? As I said it, I was squinting at the screen.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked. Okay,
I feel like
good,
it worked.
good.
We'll allow it.
So Alex clearly despises this song.
Well, just nothing it. Like all of the songs are nothing.
I like it simply because of that sing along. Those sing along VHSs were pride and place. We had 3. There was one they went to like a camp that was terrible, shocking. There was a circus one which was brilliant, fantastic. That had no Disney songs on it. It had like modern songs like that. I say modern songs, like Upside Down and things like that. And then there was one where they were actually in Disneyland, and Goofy and I think it was Winnie the Pooh are leading this march, because then it goes into a montage with a Winnie the Pooh song. Oh my god, it was amazing. So I have fond memories of this song. It's a terrible song, but memories are good. But it's still not the best song so far.
Okay. And Alex, not the best song for you, I'm assuming?
No, I actually think the Pirate's Life is better.
Alex likes the song. That's not a song.
Okay. It's not my best song winner. Winner's a strong term, I suppose.
I'm hoping that we have the same one and not the next one.
Yeah. So yeah, oh boy, this
Wipe
one's
the
a
sweat
treat.
off your brow, D, don't worry.
Yeah, I actually did. You said that.
I know how much you sweat, Bob.
Next up is the, quote, controversial, and by controversial I mean outright offensive, What Made the Red Man Red. The song attempts to answer the questions of the children regarding why the Native Americans tribe looked different, and in the process throws out various slurs, reduces a race of people to just speaking gibberish, and throws in some casual sexism for good measure, because if you're in for a penny, why not go in for a pound?
What's the casual sexism? I don't know if I'm aware of that. But I can't
about
remember.
the mother-in-law and sending Wendy off to go collect stuff
okay,
because she has to be working.
Yeah, got it.
I'll toss this live grenade to you two to unpick. Off you go.
Go on then, Ben. Enjoy.
Good at unpicking grenades.
Repicking? Do you repick a grenade?
You pick it up and throw it back. So Alex, catch.
Boom.
What do you say about this? One thing I find interesting in the classic sort of deflecting of Disney, which they're very good at. On the Disney Wiki, when I was looking at the lyrics for this song, they acknowledge that yes, in the 50s, we released a film when it had this song on, and we weren't that aware of the terrible connotations we were bringing to the Native Americans and all these kind of stereotypes we're doing. And then there's like 3 paragraphs on, but... And then all these sort of defense of like, but it was at the time, and we've made these changes since, and we've tried to do these edits in the films, and it's like you just accept that you did it wrong, and that's it, and it was bad, and I'm much more accepting of films that just do that. For me, you don't have to change the film; just say that was wrong, that was wrong, and that's it.
Yep,
it's a poor song. At the best of times, there's not anything to enjoy. It's not like the discussions we've had about R. Kelly in the past. Was like, oh, it's annoying that it's a good song and its connotations of all this awful human being now. No, it's just a bad song, bad connotations. There's nothing to enjoy about it. That's it. Just hang your head in shame and try and do better, even though you're not very good at that.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? One of the lead animators said that if they had the time again, they wouldn't do it. There was a quote that I kept seeing everywhere, which kept being attributed to different people, so I'm just going to say it without attributing to anybody, that the depictions were fine because Disney wasn't saying that this is what Native Americans are like. They're saying this is how Native Americans were depicted at the time, so that's why the children's imagination had them depicted this way.
That was what I was trying to remember.
It's not a defense, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, that's the thing, is saying like, oh no, this is a children's imagination. It's not what we think as animators, even though we've done it. Even though we've made this.
I think with that, I think that explains the situation in the book, the original book, because I know obviously these characters were in the original story. I can see a Scottish author in Edwardian Britain not having much of an actual idea about the Native Americans and getting all of that information from probably children's books, and probably this is the kind of thing that an Edwardian child might think an Indian inverted commas would look like. Yep. But this is 1953. This is like 45 years later, made by an American company. So I feel like they can't justify it in that sense. The way that, because what they've tried to use is the same excuse, and it doesn't apply in 1953 the same way it implied in 1910 Scotland. So, yeah, I don't think it's justifiable. I think they could have had the Native American characters, but I think they just don't depict them in the way that they've done it and used... Like, because that can't excuse the lyrics of the song, can it? Because the song's not in the original story. They've made the song up completely fresh.
No, other than the chief and Tiger Lily, they animate the others almost like in the same way that they do animals, just without the caricatured actions. It's not the same.
Yep, they seem almost inhuman, don't they?
Yeah, just how like they're kind of bouncing. I'm trying to think. It almost reminds me of like how the cutlery moves in Beauty and the Beast. Like there's kind of like this bounce and plumpness, almost like their form shifts as they kind of almost like they're a bowl of water. Like it just feels this very unusual movement about it. And I like this thing, written text. Like you said, there was probably sort of stereotypes that I might not have even been aware of in Edwardian Scotland, but the animation often leads to caricatures, and like there's problems with like the crows. In Dumbo, animation makes things a lot worse. You have to be very, very careful, and they weren't at the time. It was shorthand.
Yeah, it's almost worse than the crows because they're almost like a caricature of something, but this is actively making fun of a group of people.
Yeah, I think. I guess because the crows are coming from a position of almost a level of awareness. I think with the crows, and in the background, it was like they were all given to black actors and black singers, and they got a lot of breaks. Whereas I don't think there was probably anything like that in this scene. And that's the thing we've talked about in other episodes, like when we talked about Mulan, and a lot of Disney have done a lot of progression in trying to be more culturally aware, but at the same time they cut things out for Chinese markets, so screw them.
True. Yeah, so talking of cutting things out, so this scene is generally removed from broadcasted versions of Peter Pan. It's still on Disney Plus, but you can only watch it on Disney Plus if you're viewing it via an adult's account. If you're using one of the Disney Plus children's account, you can't access this original Peter Pan at all.
Wow, I did not know that.
Not even a cut version, it's just not there.
Does a warning come up? Because I know some of the films come up with the warning.
I think it
seems
does,
like
it says something about it being depictions that were prevalent at the time.
I stuck it on Disney Plus, and I think I went somewhere before it started.
You probably knew there was a 3-minute choir sequence about to start, so you had time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so in the more recent stage plays, this song is replaced by a more sympathetically written replacement called What Makes the Brave Man Brave, which I had to listen to, and it's pretty good. It's not as ham-fisted as that title makes it sound.
Yeah, what is it as well? It's the What Makes the Red Man Red? Is it that he blushed or something? Like a tribe leader
blushed when a girl kissed his cheek.
That's it, yeah. Cool.
Not getting this podcast cancelled, this is nobody's favourite song.
No, and as well, just aside on that, there's the scene, like the little clip of one of the darling children just smoking a pipe.
yeah, that was the 50s.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the real reason why Disney blocked it.
Children just smoking, and it goes like a weird shade of like yellow.
He's been on the Sam Ryder Spice.
Wholesome.
Anyway, we can breathe easy now because we're on to the 6th song of Peter Pan, which is the lullaby from Wendy to her siblings, the Lost Boys, and the crew of Captain Hook, unwittingly. It's called Your Mother and Mine. The song is Wendy singing about what it's like to have a loving mother, which helps the children go to sleep and wish for a better tomorrow, and moves Captain Hook's crew to tears. The song is beautifully performed by Catherine Beaumont, the voice of Wendy, who is best known as being the star of that YouTube video from the Alice in Wonderland episode.
Yes.
So what do you guys think of this song? And Alex, will you be singing this to your children to help them fall asleep?
Yes.
May we have a recording of it?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay, cool. Next episode, we'll have that at the end of the episode.
Yeah, okay, I'll learn it. I think this is the best song. It's the only one that I vaguely remember other than You Can Fly. And when I came to it, it's like, yes, this is the song that I was kind of waiting for. Because I think obviously there's it's just because the name of the song is very similar to the one from Dumbo. But I think in both the films, those were the two songs. Like, there's the scene where Wendy sings to all of the Lost Boys. I think finally you get a moment in the film maybe where it captures something, like just anything of substance. This, gentle lullaby to these children who don't have any mothers and what they've missed out on. And it kind of gets you, finally, the film. As a modern viewer. I don't know, like what it would have been like in 1953, but I do think that finally you get that kind of moment within the film that gives it, like, say, a bit of substance.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's a shame that during the scene you've got Peter Pan being all annoyed and frumpy.
Yeah.
It sort of takes away from it. I know that's on purpose, and Peter Pan's a dickhead.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think you could, like Alex was saying, because of the weight of the song, I think you can take it in quite a lot of depth. I think you can interpret stuff about Peter Pan. If the film was ever going to be done in the right way, his reaction, you could take things from that as well, with the topic of the mother and how basically there is no, like, female character that really exists in the film. Tiger Lily is basically a statue.
Yep.
There's the mermaids who just want to kill things. Is that it? I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think what this is reminiscent of is Oliver Twist. And I think probably this is where J.M. Barrie gets this from, because there's obviously there's the character of Nancy in Oliver Twist, and the Lost Boys are kind of reminiscent of Fagin's gang in that. So I think there's definitely, I wouldn't say plagiarism, but there's clearly it's a very, very similar kind of story beat. The idea of these children in kind of Victorian, in Dickens' case, and Edwardian's case, just sort of lost to the world, which a lot of children were in those days, and like having to do jobs and living horrific lives, being chimney sweeps and whatnot. And yeah, they're still children. I think that's kind of like what the song gets across quite nicely.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it's almost the message of this, for me. The message of the song is nice, and I think it's probably the deepest moment of the film, probably the most beautiful moment of the film. But I still think the song could be better.
Yeah, agreed.
I think it is the best song, I agree, but I think it could be better. If you were to redo Peter Pan and do it differently, like I say, not just a different version of Peter Pan, and I know it's annoyingly his name, but that's the interesting part of the narrative that I don't think anyone really picks upon, that you could delve into deeper. It's almost this world that exists in perpetual infinity without women, without a sort of a mothering figure for a lot of these children. And I think because of how the pirates react, even Mr. Smith's got his mother tattoo on his chest, they have that sort of almost, they miss that element of their life, whether it wasn't there for when they were younger, or there's just that longing for that platonic connection, that someone, almost that perfect love, non-reciprocating love, and that could be worked in, really. I know it kind of gets to this point where they're like, everyone just wants to steal Wendy, but I think you could go into that story in a very interesting way. But no one will ever do that, because we need to figure out what Peter Pan's, shoe size is, and make 2 hours about that.
When all the other characters are on screen and Peter Pan's not there, they should all be saying, "Where's Peter Pan?"
Yeah.
I also give this my best song vote, so it's a clean sweep.
For me, it's not the most memorable, but it's definitely the best. But it could be better.
Yeah. I completely agree that it could be a better song. But I do think that in the context of the other songs, it stands out. And I think not just from a musical point of view, but also lyrically, it just seems to have a lot more weight than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Does this list ever end?
There's only one left, right?
Okay, this is the last new song in the movie Peter Pan, because I've got no notes on the reprise of You Can Fly in the end. Nobody would want that.
No.
So the final song in the movie Peter Pan is The Elegant Captain Hook, which takes the form of another sea shanty, but this time with a recruitment twist, as it's being used to entice the children to join the crew of Captain Hook's ship. It's a villain song, there's always one, and it's usually the weakest, but probably not in this case. Offers include treasures by the ton, free tattoos, and simply the joy of not being forced to walk the plank. I mean, honestly, the free tattoos offer is pretty enticing, so I'm not going to lie, I might have done it. So for the final time this episode, what do you think of this song?
Have you got any pirate-themed tattoos? I forget.
I've got like a rope. That's kind of pirate.
You've got a rope?
Right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, let's go for it.
A lobster?
Yeah, that's pirate. That's pirate. That's salty.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The Infinity Gauntlet?
You're pushing it now.
Treasure?
Pushing it now.
Go on.
It's fine. I had not a clue. Like, when you said this, not a clue where was this from. Did not remember it at all. And when I was watching the film, I thought, wait, have I missed a song? Because I knew there was 7. I don't know, it passes me by. It feels like it's a Jingle refrain, maybe almost leitmotif of the previous song, and that's about it for me. I get nothing else from this.
as we've mentioned several times on these episodes, I'm very much more like an 80s, 90s kind of Disney guy. And I feel like the Gaston song in Beauty and the Beast, for instance, is a perfect version of where it works really well, doing a villain song. And they do an amazing job of it. This is just nothing. It's not even a song. It's like, it's barely worth a note. And it doesn't even really mention the kind of main... I mean, it does sort of, because I think Mr. Smee is about to sort of mentions the crocodile and the clock, but they don't...
Crickety, crockety.
Yeah, but they don't really even go into that enough. It's just sort of like a little aside. I mean, I did appreciate that they, like you've already mentioned, they expanded on the list of things that make it worthwhile becoming a pirate. And yeah, free tattoo, money in the bank, barrels of fun, not walking the plank. They're all good. Especially that last one.
Money in the bank, though, it insinuates there is a bank.
Yeah. But it doesn't. Maybe it's like a, this like a sea bank or something, or a sand bank.
Or the sea bank.
A sand bank. It's like a dune. It's like a dune where you can store your cash.
Sea bank for seamen.
Oh dear.
But free tattoo. But do you have any free tattoos? Because that would make you a pirate.
I think I had to pay for all of them.
Didn't throw one in.
No, that's never happened. Though I did get my Back to the Future hoverboard. I got charged a very low amount because the guy, for some reason, tripled the size of it. So he only charged me for one that was I think a 3 centimeter tattoo.
It's a pirate in my book.
I'll take it.
Yep.
D is an honorary pirate.
Yarr.
Yeah.
Scurvy.
So that's all the songs. We've done it. We got through them all.
Okay.
And we did best song. Wrapped all up in one. All that's left now is to do some top fives, Ben. Top fives? I don't mean plural, just
Top
one.
fives, multiples.
Top 5.
Now, I've always been a big fan of Hook, and because of that, it's Captain Hook, and the brilliant Gene Hackman played him. I think he's one of my favourite villains. But I was looking at different kind of villain lists online, and I found one, which was, which Disney villain would win the Hunger Games?
Cool. Alex, do you want to go first?
Who would win the Hunger Games? Ooh, I was going to say that guy. I don't know his name. The guy from, probably because I've been watching Tarzan recently, but the guy from Tarzan who just runs around with a double barrel shotgun.
Kojak, is it? Kojak?
Yeah, something like that. Him.
No.
No.
Don't think it was even mentioned in any list.
No. Well.
Jafar comes to mind.
Oh yeah, because Jafar's like a sorcerer, isn't he?
Yeah, Jafar is number 2. No, number 3.
Number 3.
Yes,
Ooh.
he was number 3 on both lists.
Within Hunger Games, does the fact that any of them are rich and can pay for weapon drops help?
Well, he's not in the top 5, so I'll say this, but a lot of the discussions of Gaston would likely swing the crowd a lot and get a lot of things. I don't think money matters. Yeah, I mean, this is so hypothetical. I don't think they've put a lot of thought into this. We could probably do a better one.
I mean,
is it the comets from Dinosaur?
Yeah, basically.
are any of them animals? E.g.,
not in the... No.
Because I mean, a lion would be pretty good at the Hunger
You
Games.
think of Scar? Yeah, you
I am
think of
thinking
Scar.
Scar, yeah. But he's a bit of a whiny lion.
Number 1 is a bit like number 3, like Jafar.
The witch from Snow White.
Is that Maleficent?
No, that's
No,
Sleeping
that's
Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, right, okay.
But Maleficent.
No, it's not. It's not Maleficent. It's not Maleficent.
Either Merlin or the witch lady from The Sword and the Stone who transforms into a dragon.
Not in this list.
Magwitch or whatever. No, Magwitch. What's her name?
Magwitch.
It's-
I think I got one of them from McDonald's the other day.
I can't remember what her name is.
Maleficent is number 1 though.
Okay.
Mistress of all evil.
Okay, well, I don't agree with
Apparently, she has the power of Satan on her side. So yeah,
Fair enough.
that's not fair, is it?
But so does Hades from Hercules.
Hades is number 2.
Okay, well, there you go. That's what you need. You need the power of Satan.
Is the big dragon, not dragon, sort of evil winged creature from Fantasia?
No, not in there. Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
These are terrible.
Cruella de Vil.
Count now. Cruella de Vil was in one of them, but her reasoning was terrible.
She'd just drive that car around and crash into
Because you
stuff.
said the car. Yeah, but you can't bring your car into the Hunger Games. What are you on about? Okay, number 4 is someone called Dr. Facilia. You know where this is from?
No.
No, don't ring a bell.
It doesn't say it in either of them. He's in both lists. Dr. Facilia. Who the hell are you? Princess and the Frog. Nah, terrible film.
Oh, okay.
Number 5, film we've reviewed on this podcast.
The Queen of Hearts.
No.
The whale from Pinocchio.
Yeah, Monstro.
No. Monstro would not do well in the Hunger Games.
There's a pool in the middle.
He couldn't move through areas. How's he hold the bat?
I can't even think.
It's
of
Shan
this.
Yu.
Oh, from Mulan. I was going to say, yeah, but that's not, he loses. But they all lose in the end. Don't they?
They all lose, they're all villains. Some people thought Ursula might have also been in the list, but again, water is a problem. I'm going to write up a better version of this.
There's always a ravine or a canal.
Someone put Prince Hans! How would you put Prince Hans in the list? He's a good backstabber, let's see.
What about Tafiti from Moana? She's like a giant evil rock god.
Alex, I will do a better list.
Or the movie producer in Bolt.
Michael Eisner.
Walt Disney himself.
Okay, so that brings an end to another episode of That Song from That Movie. Let us know which one your favourite of the songs are. Not the best song, just your most favourite asterisks. Alex, where should they let us know and vote on Twitter?
TSFTM pod? ?
Yeah, that'll
Don't
do.
have the question mark.
So you can help the podcast in many ways. One of those ways is on Reddit. But Ben, what random subreddit should they share it to this week?
Oh, that is a good question. The Gene Hackman subreddit.
You can help the podcast by telling all of your friends how great we are and forcibly taking their phone and subscribing them to the podcast.
But ask first.
And also reviews, Patreon, and buying our merch. So what's left now is do some goodbyes. So it's goodbye from myself, goodbye, and goodbye from Alex.
All children, except Ben, grow up. I believe he only grows down.
True. And goodbye from Ben.
Bring me Peter Pan.
10 minutes to what now?
Totally.
Is it not Dustin Hoffman, Ben? You keep saying Gene Hackman.
Yeah, dude.
I was like,
Why
Gene
do I keep-
Hackman from LA,
why do I keep
from The French Connection.
French Connection. When I said it, I was like, Gene Hackman? That doesn't sound right.
I think you said Gene Hackman like at least twice.
I apologise, Gene.
I didn't realise Gwyneth Paltrow played Wendy in this film. And Maggie Smith. Christ, I need to watch this again.
Maggie Smith played Wendy.
Maggie Smith plays the old Wendy.
Daniel Day-Lewis played the dog. He really can do anything.
Okay, so goodbye everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Polls.
Yeah.
I've watched a few videos about which Disney villain would win Squid Games, but I didn't know if you've both seen Squid Games. So I thought, let's go to something slightly more aware. Past Battle Royale, but we've settled on Hunger Games.
Cool.
I mean, obviously The Condemned as well.
No, we don't. No, it doesn't. No, we don't mention the Condemned. No one mentions the Condemned other than you.
Fair.